Well, hello, everybody. How is everybody today? Happy Wednesday. Hey, Crazy Crime Chick, how are you? Thank you for holding it down. Hey, Karen, Skeet, Danielle, Terry, Brown's Mermaid, Kathy, Monica, and anybody that I missed. How are we? So, I have been holding off on this live, not only because the Summerwell case has me frazzled, but because this is definitely implicating somebody for something that I don't know if they did anything. Is it Thursday? It's Thursday for you, Karen. Sorry. And I will just start it off by saying that I'm going to start this whole thing off with this is an allegedly. Okay? This is for right now, this is just something that someone has done that I find questionable. And then there's a few things that this person has uh, that this person's spouse has done that I find questionable. I have questions, and I will bring it to the forefront because I have this information available to me. And, well, I mean, I just feel like it's a little bit important, especially because this guy keeps getting talked about. Now, again, I am saying this like this because I have been fearful of even making this public or even making these assumptions public. And I just don't want to get anybody into trouble that, if they don't deserve it. But what I am going to be saying today are things that have been out there. I'm not really going to be saying anything that hasn't been put out, but I will be showing, or I will be giving you something that I think may help, as someone's saying, connect the dots. Exactly. So, without further ado, I will start playing right now a video that gave me the inspiration to do this today. And I say the inspiration because I haven't been able to, previous to this, I hadn't been able to throw it all together confidently, not as confidently or well executed as they did. Now, I have asked permission from this content creator. Their name is Cracking Cases. I will link them and everything just as I can right now. But I asked them for their permission to use this video because it laid it out so seamlessly for me that it finally came together. And I was like, okay, look, at least I'm not the only one thinking this. And they seem to have brought it together better than I could have. And then so I am going to play this, and then I have my own thing to enter into it. This is 25 minutes long, but it's a good 25 minutes. It's very interesting. You cannot keep your eyes off of it. So if you have not seen it, you really need to pay attention. Or you don't really need to pay attention, but I suggest you pay attention. And then what I have to add on to it is very interesting to boot. So I am going to play this video, and I will be in chat. And also, let me know if that link worked. If not, I'll be throwing in more. They will also be in the description of the video.
On that property, so while after he bought
Oops,
the property,
I had it rewound or fast forwarded so I could have a good picture of Dobbs.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. For those of you that don't know us, we are Kim and Allie, and this is Cracking Cases. We just want to, first of all, say thank you to everybody for being so patient with us. I know that everybody is excited and wanting to see everything that we were able to do while we were in Kingsport and Hawkins County this weekend. We are just trying to, we had a whole lot more footage than what we even expected to have while we were down there. And so we're trying to compile it all together and have it in a presentable manner for everybody to be able to kind of get a feel for everything that we saw while we were down there. We just want to give everybody a good view of what life is like around here and where we live and what we saw.
Just more clarity to the whole thing.
Yeah, and we're still learning how to edit, and we're just kind of learning as we go along. So
Same.
we want to just thank everybody for their patience, and I promise you're going to get to see everything that we saw. We're just still working on it, and we're working really hard on it.
All right, guys. What we're going to do on this video is we're going to show you some stuff we went that was kind of weird to us, and we wanted to go there while we were down there.
It was very important for us to go to this one specific place because there had been some questions about a specific person named JD, and a lot of people feel like he could be a suspect in Summer's disappearance, and we just kind of wanted to shed some light on that.
For those of y'all who haven't seen the video we did with Benny on Blood Money TV, this is before we started our channel. We broke down all the evidence we had and on Mr. JD, and we're going to show you all that through this too. A little recap of it. So, who is JD? JD is from Georgia. He bought land across from the Wells property. He was camping up there.
There's not a house on that property, so after he bought the property, he came down here and was camping on it, or what he thought was his property, but it turns out he was actually camping across the property lines on another property that belongs to some of the neighbors of the Wells.
Right. And while Mr. JD was up on the property, he had a altercation with some other property owners, and they had a discrepancy on where the line was, the property line. So the police were called. We actually have the screenshot and of the woman who had the altercation with Mr. JD right here.
She had posted this comment on something about Summer in regards to what they had experienced with JD while he was there camping. They had called the cops, and basically the cops had came out there and explained to JD that the other people had owned the property. The property had been in their family for 200 years. So the police had told him, they would know where the property lines are, and basically told him that he needed to leave.
Not leave, but just to move over back to his side.
Back to his side of the property.
While the police were there, they asked him to identify himself. He would not show ID. Which is strange to me. If you own property up there and you're trying to settle a dispute, you would ID yourself for records for law enforcement to see, hey, he owns this side, they own that side, but he didn't.
I mean, basically, if you have nothing to hide, then why would you not want to tell who you are?
Yeah. It was also stated he had dead tags on there. I don't have anything to show you on that part, but that was stated quite a few times I'd seen. Also, before we get into the dog Elvis, and that's part of his alibi, what we got at the Roadway Inn was, that's just what we could get from the outside. Out of all the places that we visited in Hawkins County, this place gave me bad vibes. This place sketched me out. I didn't want to go inside there. And you'll see in our future videos, we went inside some places. And we asked around. But not here. I didn't feel it was the place to do that.
Yeah, we just kind of, from the moment that we drove onto the property at the hotel, we just had a bad feeling. And so we didn't get out and really do a lot there. We hopped out and took some pictures and some video clips, and
we looked at the whole property.
Right,
we made sure that we knew what we were going to be talking about, how the pillars were and how they lined up, all that, and you'll see that coming up here in just a second. So we get to the dog Elvis alibi.
So JD has this dog named Elvis. He had actually posted a picture of Elvis at Ben Hill, on Ben Hill Road. He actually posted it and said Elvis at Ben Hill Hell. This was on June 14th. It looks like he posted it that night. After everything started coming out about Summer going missing, he had posted a picture of Elvis that stated, "My buddy Elvis 2016. Well, he then later changed that, or at least the description on the picture, and changed it to timestamp June 15th at Roadway Inn near Churchill, Tennessee, late in the afternoon. So this was him basically trying to establish an alibi for where he was on the evening that Summer went missing. So I guess people had started kind of talking about, well, he said that this picture was taken in 2016. Why is he saying now that this was at the Roadway Inn in Churchill on June 15th, 2021? So he then went in and he edited what he had wrote and put, "My buddy Elvis took up with us February 2016. So he's basically stating there that what he meant by "My buddy Elvis 2016 was that they had actually gotten the dog in 2016. We have found some discrepancies on that as well. It looks like there is an old picture from a trail camera that has a dog that looks pretty much exactly like Elvis, that was dated for February 7th, 2012. And so that would mean, if that's true, that he had actually had Elvis since 2012, and this whole thing about getting Elvis in 2016 is a lie.
Right. Okay. And so we're going to show you the picture we took right here. And if you can,
I want
go ahead.
I want to clarify that there are multiple gray pillars in front of this hotel, but there is only one pillar in front of the whole hotel that has a gutter attached to it. And we made sure to look at all of the pillars there. And as you can see in the picture of Elvis the dog that he posted, it was in front of the pillar with the gutter on it.
Right. And in our picture, you will see that the parking blocks in the parking lot are moved. The lines in the parking lot are moved. And it seems to have been done a while ago. You can see that there's been new asphalt poured down, because if it was the same, you would still be able to see the old lines in the pavement. You can look at the differences on the sidewalk.
Yeah, it looks like they have actually redone the sidewalk since the picture of Elvis was taken.
All right. And I'll let you be the judge. You look at it, and you make your
own opinion.
Own opinions, right? Like she said, the guttering has been fixed. Sidewalk looks a lot different. Lines are redone. Parking blocks are in different spaces. You can do it. We'll put it up there where you can compare it.
And I mean, anybody can say, well, maybe they made all these changes in the last 2 months since June 15th, whenever he took that picture, and the day that Summer went missing. Well, that might be true. But in my life, anytime that I have seen new lines painted on any road or parking lot, even the interstate, wherever, usually the lines will stay looking pretty fresh for quite a while.
Probably about a year.
Yeah.
Or longer.
Probably a year or longer. And you can tell in this picture that we took that you can see there's a lot of cracks in the paint, and it just doesn't look like they are very fresh.
Sidewalk's a different color as well. And that could be the resolution of his camera and ours. But I believe it's from a way different time. That's our point of view.
Right. And even the sidewalk seems to have some cracks in it. And unless it was just a poor job on the person that did the sidewalks, I would feel like there wouldn't be that many cracks in it if it was a brand new sidewalk that had just been done in the last 2 months. So I just feel like these changes to this property have probably been made a while back.
Prior than
June 15th.
June 15th.
So, I mean, I don't know. This hotel was closed down for a period of time in 2020.
It will show you that right here.
So, we have an article that was posted from the Churchill Police. This was actually on their Twitter account on June 5th, 2020. It says, in accordance with TCA 29-3-101, the Churchill Inn at 1142 Volunteer Street has been recognized as a nuisance and dangerous to public safety. The establishment is now closed. There is to be no one on the property until further notice. We then have a news article from WJHL, which was also posted on June 5th, 2020, that is talking about how the
property has been shut down for child abuse, for drug activity, for attempted murder charges, so on and so on. And we can probably give you the link to that in the description. Okay, now we will go to the Hoke School shooting and the map. Actually, let's go here to the map. This map actually shows from the roadway in to the Wells property. And, we're not going to focus on the distance there right now in this, but he says it's 22 minutes away. And
14 miles.
14 miles. We actually drove this when we were down there.
And it does take about 20 minutes to get from the Wells property to the hotel. But that is basically just because driving from the Wells property, it's a mountain road and it's curvy and it's back in the country. So I don't know. I know in other parts of the world, it doesn't take as long to drive places. But around here, these roads back in the country, it takes a while because they're all very curvy.
And they are straight up and down in some places and 90-degree turns, and it's just wild.
Right, and then you actually, once you get off that road, you have to go through the actual town here, and there's quite a bit of traffic in the town.
Right.
So that's why it takes about 22 minutes to drive this area.
Okay, but we're going to zoom in on the location dot of the roadway in. Okay, and we're going to go to the square that we're going to draw around right here and show you this big square, right? It's probably 150, 200 yards away from the roadway in. That is Volunteer High School. This is the high school that the Hoke shooting was called into. And we had stayed in it 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago is when this Hoke shooting was called in. And the reason I found that relevant is because every police department was dispatched to this high school. That is Churchill Police Department, Mount Carmel Police Department, TBI, Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, Sullivan County Sheriff's Office,
Kingsport City Police.
Kingsport City Police and the Tennessee State Troopers.
Tennessee State Troopers. There was a SWAT team that was there. Pretty much every law enforcement
was dispatched
personnel in that area was dispatched to this high school on the day that this shooting was called in.
And what my idea was, and this is total speculation, but I was thinking, if every officer is here dealing with this, and this call was made from out of state, let me make this clear. I don't know who did it. We don't know if it was a child or an adult, but it was made from out of state. And if you have every officer dispatched to this area, one location, what's going on everywhere else? You could do anything you wanted. You could go anywhere, do anything you wanted, and not have to worry about a police presence.
There has been multiple people that have stated, well, maybe somebody, and we're not saying that this is even connected to Summer. We just think it's quite a coincidence considering.
And I don't believe in coincidences.
This location. We don't have a lot of high-profile events that take place in this area. So considering in Hawkins County, 2 high-profile cases have happened within a 2-month time period. It just seems like they could be in some way, shape, or form connected to one another.
You be the judge of that, though.
But it has been stated that maybe someone could have called this hoax shooting in just to be able, if they have Summer, they could have used that opportunity with all of the police being dispatched to the high school
to move her.
They could have moved her body, or, just done something.
They shouldn't have. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, right. Something that they shouldn't have been doing.
Right. But you be the judge of that.
Right. We will let you guys kind of make your own opinion as of that.
And we just wanted to put this out first because we felt like this was important for people to see. There's going to be some stuff coming out later tonight, I believe, that's going to have theories and everything, and we wanted to put ours out there too. So, and it's not necessarily our complete theory, and it's not our total look on everything, but this is just a good place, I think, that people should look. And if you want to say it's cleared, it can be cleared.
Okay, guys, while we were editing this, we realized that we had forgotten to talk about one of the most important parts that we had meant to talk about during this video, and that was JD's appearance change. So 3 days after Summer had went missing on June 15th, JD had posted a picture on his Facebook of him with a completely shaved head, and he had shaved his beard off, and he had just completely changed his appearance.
Right, that was Summer went missing on the 15th. He posted this on June 18th.
Right, so it was 3 days later. It's not necessarily strange that somebody would make changes to their appearance. Women will frequently change their hairstyle or their hair color, and so will men. But his appearance change was quite drastic. He looks different than pretty much any other person I have ever seen after just shaving a beard or something. He just completely looks like a new person. And we have seen this a lot with people who have committed crimes. They'll change their appearance drastically. And not saying that he's committed a crime, it just kind of makes it look suspicious that he would make such a drastic change.
Especially 3 days after this.
Right.
We're going to throw those up. We got a comparison together for y'all to see. And we also wanted to add something that we don't have because he set his Facebook to private. We searched for it, looked for screenshots, and we just can't seem to find them. But he had posted missing children multiple times a day for, I don't know how long back, but it was a long time.
Yeah, he was constantly posting missing children, missing people all over the United States. And he would post up to 67 times a day that I had seen. And on the specific day that Summer had went missing, it's also a good thing to note that he had only made one Facebook post, which was odd for him and how he usually was on Facebook all the time.
Right.
But whenever Summer went missing, he did not post a single thing on his Facebook about her missing. That just seems odd considering he would always be posting missing people, but he didn't post anything on his new neighbor that's missing.
Right. Okay, guys, we just wanted to add this part in, and we're going to go back to the original one. Mr. JD said that he had spoke to
an officer from the TBI, and also that he had spoken to 2 FBI agents over the phone, and his exact words were, "And I believe I've been cleared." Well, first of all, Ronnie Lawson, Hawkins County Sheriff, has said that no one has been cleared at this point, and that everyone is still a suspect. Therefore, he can't really say that he's been cleared.
And I don't know of anybody that's ever been cleared from a phone call.
Right. Second of all, I don't believe that, and I don't know how the FBI works, but it just seems to me that they have the money, they have the resources.
And jurisdiction.
They have the jurisdiction to be able to go anywhere within the United States. And if they just have the ability to go and question anyone that they feel they need to question in person. So I just don't know why they would clear somebody over the phone. It just seems to me that they would want to be in person talking to that person. That way that they could maybe see their actions and just be able to see if maybe they're given any clues as to whether they are lying or telling the truth just by their body language alone.
Right. And so that's pretty much all we got for you guys. We wanted to put this out. We got more coming. Be patient. Everywhere we went was we were allowed to go.
We were on public property the whole time that we were down there. And we did video a lot of the same places that other people have videoed. However, just because we are local, we feel like we could give a little bit more to where we were at and kind of explain it a little bit differently than other people have been able to explain it.
Right. We went in places too.
Yeah, we went in and spoke with people who work at different places, and we've got a lot of stuff coming for you guys that hopefully will add a little bit to what we already know, and it might open your eyes a little bit about some different things.
So, okay.
With that being said, just please be patient with us. We are working very hard to get everything out there. Like I said, we're still learning how to edit and do all of this fancy stuff, so it might take us a little bit of time, but we are trying to get it out there as quickly as possible for everybody to see.
So just be kind, be patient. It's coming, and we're going to give you what we got. Let's close on a prayer for Summer. We do that every time. That's the right thing to do. We need to be prayer warriors for people in need.
And right now, Summer is our number one priority with this. We just want to be able to help her to come home, or at least be found, that way that she can have peace.
Right. So, dear Heavenly Father, we lift up Summer in our prayers. Her name's Summer Moon Utah Wells. And Lord, we just lift up this beautiful little girl to you. We ask that you bring justice to her. And Lord, we have the hope that you can perform miracles. Lord, let this little girl come home. Let this girl be just not forgotten. We want to keep lifting up her name. Heavenly Father, let us always stand with good intentions in our heart. And Lord, the main thing is just bring Summer home. We pray these things in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
And remember, everybody wants to see justice.
But justice doesn't have to be carried out with hate.
Exactly. And I think one of the reasons I felt this video was important for me to share was not only was it very well executed, they're not saying anything other than what they've researched. And with that being said, neither have I. And I have not said anything about this man yet except for what I've played on this video. And this was a video that I thought was very well executed by people that seem like they just want to get a little bit more truth out about the people who have been questioned in the Summer case, because a lot of people are asking about him, and I felt it was a little bit important. So, with that being said, I have something that I made to add on to what Kraken Cases has showed us in this video, and I will share the screen right now. How is everybody over there? I know I was in chat a little bit, but just making sure everyone's okay. I know we had somebody a little bit upset a little bit ago. So I'm going to... All right, so these are posts that these are things that I have had on my phone for a little while with, with Jackie, with Jackie being so close to the case and people questioning things about him. I started, screenshotting stuff really early on, and I have quite a few things. I also didn't put it all together just because I feel like if there is something important, it will dribble out. I don't want anything forced. But there's also a recording that I received a couple weeks ago that I have kept to myself. And then I guess it has been released in a group, but I will be playing it here. But it coincides with what I'm going to show you guys right now. These are posts that Jackie had on his Facebook before he locked them down. Now, being that he was in the area, let's just say this is normal for him to post these things. That there's a little girl missing when he, in the area that he was living, staying, whatever. And I will be giving kind of like a rundown of what I'm going to be showing, obviously. So these are just posts of his from this time, or from around this time. And, he was into the case. If you were on his Facebook at all, you would have noticed that he had tons of missing people posters all over his Facebook. Tons. So him posting about this isn't really far-fetched if that's what he's into. So also his wife, whose name is Alice, the same thing with her. She posted quite a few missing people posters or missing people cases. So right here, he's establishing his alibi. These aren't screenshots that I got myself, but I do have these myself further up in my folders. These are just some that I grabbed today. So, he says, I was at the Roadway Inn in Churchill, Tennessee the entire day on the 15th of July, except for short excursions to the two Marathon gas stations near the inn for biscuits and beer. Obviously, he said the wrong date. He said July, but he's still trying to establish his alibi via Facebook for that day, and obviously gave the wrong day. That's okay. It's okay. He could be into true crime like us, like Crazy says, and he knows what he has to do. So these are just some pictures of him that he had on his Facebook. He does not have a record, from what I don't think anyone has found. The sleuthers would have already pulled it up and reamed him. So I don't think he has any type of record whatsoever that would align him with anything like this, right? So again, we're just saying what we found of this man that was almost squatting on the property next to Summer. So his neighbors are, or his supposed neighbors, were some of the people that raised red flags. They said, prayers, there was a man on our property across the road yesterday. He was on our land. Said he was going to camp. We called the cops. He wouldn't give us his name. We don't know how long he had been there. The cops told him if we had owned the property for 200 years, we would know where the lines are. He packed up and left. I can't help but wonder. We could hear the kids playing over on the hill when we were there. So she's saying they could hear Summer's brothers playing while they were on the hill over there with him. And then another neighbor said, the law's still looking. 4 of the troopers just left my house, praying they find her safe. And these were actually neighbors of Candace's. And these are pictures that the neighbor took of his truck as they were asking him to leave. I don't know if these have been out. I'm pretty sure they have, but these were sent to me. Let me bring that back a little bit. So that was his truck. It's him packing up to go. And then that's him walking Elvis. And he had posted that was on Ben Hill Road. Also, one thing that I find odd that I haven't been able to figure out is this looks like his established residence. And right here, there's, obvious surveillance of his property. But this is also the same room, I believe, where he took the picture of his shaved face. And then also the picture previously where he had said that his new camera worked well, so on and so forth. So how could he have been at two places, in both places? I haven't figured that out, but he is posting, the picture of his bare face in this room again. Obviously, he was probably back in Georgia, as people are saying. He left the next day, but this would be his bedroom and his surveillance system that shows his little red truck, and I think it's his dog probably right there. Okay, so here, this is previous to, obviously, to Summer having gone missing, but he's telling everyone that he's moving to Rogersville, Tennessee, that he's going to be going over there. He's talking about it a lot. He brings it up a lot. Thanks, Crazy. And then he posted a lot more Summer stuff, videos and stuff. Like I said, if he really is just a neighbor from out there, maybe he was just a true crimer, and because he was posting missing kids, missing people flyers, maybe he just wanted to stay informed like everybody else. This is a post by him, June 16th, the day after Summer went missing. I think the folks living on Tennessee hills are not too welcoming to outsiders. Hell, I'm just a hillbilly, just like them, only I'm from the North Georgia hills. You'd think I'd fit right in. A little weird. He's an older guy. What does he care about fitting in? Then this is around the same time he's posting that, he may need somewhere to live, or he may need to be staying with other people. And someone told him, you can come over here, Bubba. Love you bunches. And they said, did the Rogers place fall through? And he put legal problems. But from my understanding, people are still able to track him to that property. Like, his name is still pulling up on that property. So whether or not he said legal problems arose, he's still being pulled up on that property. What legal problems? I may have an answer to that very shortly, thanks to some amazing Facebook sleuthers. So this is him posting around the same time. A monster butternut squash plant growing out of our compost. I'm posting this because this is people stating that he was back in Georgia very soon enough to have already grown a garden, and also wanted to make sure that this is correlated with what I'm going to show. Like I said, I didn't know if thanks, Amber. I didn't know if this stuff had been shown yet. I guess there's one of my subs right now is telling me that it was published in a Facebook group, but I hadn't heard anybody else talking about it. So I thought it would be worthwhile to correlate the two. So these are posts that people just found eerie and weird. There's also one, I think it's like 2 days before, I want to say, just to give it some time. But, oh no, I'm sorry. It's a week before. And it says, trespassers will be made into compost. Maybe they're just gardeners. Right. And then this one is the prohibition. The property is not attached to the wells, April. Not that I have seen or heard. During Prohibition, moonshiners would wear cow shoes. The fancy footwear left hoof prints instead of footprints, helping distillers and smugglers evade police. It's like, okay, cool fact. Kind of weird. Also, in the time of Summer having been missing. Again, him giving himself an alibi, was not in Ben Hill Road, Beach Creek area of Tennessee on June 15th. I have been interviewed by the TBI on the phone and 2 FBI agents in person. I do believe I have been cleared of any wrongdoing. Again, maybe so. He has been questioned per Candace, and then he obviously has been apprehended by the police. So he has spoken to them. But what we do know by the Rogersville law enforcement, by the TBI, no one has been cleared. Not the family, not neighbors, not anybody. So we can just go ahead and take that with the same grain of salt that we take with everybody else that's saying they're cleared, I guess, right? He doesn't believe he has, or he believes he has been cleared of any wrongdoing. But what wrongdoing? I don't know. Okay, so this is where we get into what I was going to show. So Alice, his wife, accidentally butt dialed somebody, or that was her reasoning, that she accidentally sent a voice note and butt dialed someone, and then accidentally sent them a photo. So this person asked them, "Did you mean to send me that recording and photo?" Question mark. And then it says, "You sent me a recording talking about God makes you horny. What is wrong with you? If you don't respond, I have to send that to law enforcement." She responds, "Oh, sorry, I was joking with someone. Guess it butt dialed you. Please disregard." And they respond, "Very odd. And why the flower pick? Do you understand? Jackie is the main suspect in an abduction. He isn't taking seriously at all." Now, again, this is just speculation. This person who's responding, they're saying this is their opinion, and this is what they're telling his wife, who has accidentally sent them a voice note, a picture, and accidentally called them. So, they ask her that, and then she responds with, the flower are 4 o'clocks I planted in my garden that remind me of my grandmother. And who are you asking me about an abduction? I planted them last year and glad to see them up." They respond, "Jackie D, you commented on his post about his whereabouts. I live near the family of the missing child that was taken from the..." So what they're saying is they live in the area. They live in the Summerwells area. For some reason or another, his wife accidentally butt dialed them, sent them a picture, and sent them a voice note. So, they're a little bit confused, and they even tell her, if you don't, if you don't tell me why you sent me that, I'm going to have to tell law enforcement, which is kind of, you would think that that's a little bit serious for what, for having accidentally butt dialed somebody, but you're going to have to listen to this recording because it's kind of insane. So here it goes. And I will warn you that at the very beginning, it sounds like something's going on that's not going on in the background. I'll give you just a fair warning to listen to the whole thing before. Yeah. Let me turn up my volume. I guess that would help. Just a fair warning to listen to the whole thing before. Oops. Hold on a second. Okay. Get it together, Amanda. All right, let's go. All right, and...
Because I said it looked good, don't it? Boy, that looked good that night. You wrinkled that one. I said it makes me horny. God wants me horny. Who wants you that way? God. God makes me horny. Oh, yeah. He gave me to you as a present. You might have given it back. You knew what to do with it. You might have to give it back, honey. But you might have to do. That would make me horny. You are that. Back around. Yeah, all right. Here, we're over after a little while. Yeah, you're
That noise is a baby rattle. Is it, Kimmykins? Don't say that. So I'm going to play it one more time, okay? I'm going to keep it closer to the speaker this time. I didn't realize I was so far.
Because I said, that looks good, don't it? Boy, that look up good that night you wrinkled that. I said it makes me horny. God wants me horny. Who wants you that way? God. God makes me horny. Oh, yeah. He gave me to you as a present. You might have to give it back. You knew what to do with it. You might have to give it back, honey. But you might have to do. That would make me horny. You are that.
You are that. Is that Zachariah, where you been all day? It honestly, it sounds like something from a horror film. It sounds like something from a horror film to me. And I mean, I didn't even know what to make of it. I sent it to Crazy, and I was like, I don't know what to make of this. Honestly, yeah, Kimmykins, it doesn't sound normal, and he's very turned on by what she's saying. Either that's JD or she's cheating, which leads me to the next slide. Next slide, please. So, of course, she says that. Let's read her messages again. So it says, "You sent me a recording talking about God makes you horny. What is wrong with you? If you don't respond, I have to send that to law enforcement." She said, "Oh, sorry, I was joking with someone. Guess it butt dialed you. Please disregard." And then she said, "Very odd. And why the flower pick? Do you understand Jackie is the main suspect in an abduction? He hasn't taken this seriously at all." And then it says, "The flowers are my 4 o'clocks I planted in my yard that remind me of my grandmother. And who are you asking me about an abduction? I planted them last year and glad to see them up." And then she says, "JD, you commented on his post about his whereabouts. I live near the family of the missing child that was taken from the area," I'm sure it says, from Ben Hill Road, where he was squatting. So this is why I say, maybe it's JD or maybe it's somebody else, because she has since filed for divorce. This is thanks to a Facebook sleuth. This was filed August 2nd, or at least stamped by a recorder. And then it says right here on the 2nd day of August, but it also gives another date somewhere that says July. I don't remember where it says that, but it does say July somewhere. But yeah, his wife has since filed for divorce. Super sus. I don't know if she was there. I don't know where she was, but I had heard that she was in Rogersville when this happened, that she was there too, but we don't, I can't prove anything. So she has since filed for divorce from Jackie D. And, I just wanted to, show a post. Oh crap, did I not post it? There's one where she tells him, maybe your new neighbors will like you better there. Maybe I didn't post it. Why wouldn't I, though? She says, my future home. Oh, this is him showing the property office as my future home. He'll maybe put a tiny home or storage container, leaning toward a used camper if a good one can be found at a good price. If you are planning to live somewhere, you definitely have more of an idea than maybe a tiny home, maybe a storage container, or maybe a used camper that I've been looking for the whole time. Like, what? That made no sense to me. Here you go. It says, maybe your new neighbors will like you better. I don't know. I felt that this all had to be put together. He's not somebody that I know had anything to do with this. I'm just going to say that out right now. But I will say that people have been bringing him up since the beginning because he gives off weird vibes. The fact that he was posting nonstop on Facebook, kind of like Dawn, and then all of a sudden started answering questions that people were asking him as if he needed to give off answers, as if he needed to defend himself, and then he locked it all up. That is the same person wife butt dialed. Yeah. So I'm going to play the audio one more time before I end this. I don't want to, oh no, Monica, I don't want to drag this on too far. I do want to make this just a condensed video to put this out there. I don't want people to be upset that I'm rambling forever. But I did think that this was rather important to put together with Cracking Cases video. It finally gave me the yes, okay, I'm not the only one seeing all these things. They actually they're looking, and they think this is all weird too. Maybe she should try locking her phone so her big old butt will be calling people. Exactly. And I've heard people have tried to message her about it, ask her about it, and she doesn't respond. So also, I wanted to make sure to say that this is an ongoing case. If you have any important information that hasn't been shared with TBI, because this has all been shared with TBI. If you have any important information that has not been shared with TBI, they are who you reach out to just to give information to, not myself. And again, this has all been shared already, so no need to go back out there and share it. Just a fair warning. Oh yes, shipping container homes are nice, but I don't think that's the kind of home he meant.
Because I said, that was good, don't it? Boy, I know that stuck up good that night you wrinkled that one. I said it makes me horny. God wants me horny. Who? Who wants you that way? God makes me horny. Oh, yeah. He gave me to you as a present. You might have to give it back. You knew what to do with it. You might have to give it back, honey. But you might have to do. That would make me horny. You are that. Zachariah. Yeah, all right. Here, go around for a little while. Get out here, run early.
I don't know exactly what he says, but it's just very creepy. I am no way a prude, but for me, it's too out there. It makes me want to apologize to, yeah. It makes me, it's creepy. Hey, Dr. Debo Cherry, thank you. How are you? She says she's starting off at the beginning. I hope this information helps you draw a conclusion. You're a very smart woman. So yes, this is what I will be sharing today. I will be doing more lives about this subject. I just wanted to make this a very condensed version so people need to hear it. I mean, in case the people need to put it all together. And I wanted to thank Craigie Cases for giving me the inspiration. I will be linking them in the description of the video. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You guys are all awesome, and I will talk to you later. Also, don't forget to continue to hope and pray for Summer. We don't know what's really going on, and nothing is ruled out. So let's keep looking at all avenues, all of them. And let's be lucky she didn't make a group call. I'll talk to you guys later.